Alright guys, welcome to Brian Ninja on our video. Today we're doing another American Ninja Warrior review, Season 17, Episode 5, which I feel like I've been doing these reviews for a while now. We're only on Episode 5, and we still have one more qualifying episode after this, which is kind of, we have another one to review. But we're talking about Episode 5 today, and overall Episode 5 was good overall, but a couple of things that I was like not great with. There's a lot of like little things this time that I either really liked or really didn't like. And some things I was like whatever, but a lot of things I had like an opinion on, like little things like that. So there's a lot of that, and then one big issue as well, which I'll get into. But overall, like the pairs this week were pretty good. We had some young people, some old people, some interesting stories, like some good like turnaround stories of people's lives turning around because of Ninja. So that's cool. But I really like the old people running because it's cool to see like it's kind of like an uncommon demographic for a show. So seeing old people go on the show and do well is always really cool to me. It's more exciting than like, well, not to me, but it's more exciting than like a bunch of kids doing it, at least at this point in time, because we've seen it so much. It's like always cool to see the older ones go. So I really like the older competitors. What I don't like though is the older course, which we have this week unfortunately, because we have a lot of the same obstacles. This is episode 2's course again, including with the How to Train Your Dragon stuff is still there, which is really weird because I feel like that movie came out already, I believe. Maybe it didn't, but either way, like it's weird that it's like they're recycling that 3 weeks later. But they really did the exact same course. It's probably filmed like the same day or right after. But it's the quad steps, the flywheels, which is still dressed up with the How to Train Your Dragon like shields, like the pirate ship or whatever it's supposed to be, battleship. So that's kind of like repetitive at this point. Then we have the log runner, which has been in 3 episodes now. The spin cycle, which has been in 4 episodes now this season I'm talking about. Then we have the Ferris wheels and the warp wall, which if you get to if you got the warp wall in under a minute, you get to do the mega wall. So that's pretty tough with the Ferris wheel, mainly the Ferris wheel. The rest of the course isn't too long. Ferris wheel, the spin cycle is pretty quick, the log runner is pretty quick, and the flywheels are pretty quick. It's mainly the Ferris wheel, but a minute is pretty fast, so people struggle, but people do make it in that time limit. So that's a fair challenge to get an attempt at the mega wall. But yeah, this course at this point is very repetitive, especially this week's course. I think it's gonna be the most repetitive of the season, because first of all, you have this thing where they repeat 2 obstacles between 2 courses, for namely the log runner and the spin cycle. And this week has both those obstacles because they intersect. So this week is the 4th time. This week is the time that we see both the 4-time obstacles together. Every week has at least one of them, but this time they both intersect in the same course. So this is the most repetitive course of the season, and it's the 2nd time we're seeing it, so it's the most repetitive episode, I'd be willing to bet. So yeah, that's not great for me because I kind of watch mainly for the course. I stay for the competitors, but I watch for the course in the first place. So when the course doesn't change, it's kind of like hard for me to get into it. So that's unfortunate. I still like the episode overall, and the ninjas hold my attention, but like I need the course to change. I need some new obstacles. That's kind of, as you can see on this channel, I like the obstacles a lot. It's kind of my thing. So when they don't change the obstacles enough, it gets boring for me. But overall, like the episode holds my attention enough. But you know, we need to get some more obstacles. Next season, they need to do it differently if they're gonna keep doing this, because like it's too repetitive. And I'm a huge fan of Ninja, and I think it's repetitive. In fairness, that might mean that I'm also more critical of their repetition, and I know the course better. But, you know, I like the show a lot. I still find it kind of repetitive, so that says something for sure. So let's work on that, guys. I know you're not watching, but come on now. Alright, so we're going to get to competitors now. The first competitor of the day was Maddie Howard, who we've had before. She's a nurse. They talked about she has a son, which I didn't realize. They actually we've seen that before, but that's probably in one of the seasons I didn't watch, like the more recent seasons I didn't watch. But that's really cool. And then when she was running the course, they showed that they have her on the billboard, like the ANW official billboard, and she drove past it and took a picture in front of it. And Matt said it's really big in person to see the board. Then the surprising thing here is that she cleared. The first run of the night cleared, which I think this is the first time that they've had the first run of the night who's a woman clear. And I'm knowing that because like typically they save that kind for the end because it's like more like of a thing they want to hype up. So the fact that she cleared first, they showed her first clearing, and obviously they change the run order in the show all the time. They don't keep it like what it originally was. So the fact that they showed her clearing first, I knew that women would do well in this episode. And I was right. So yeah, we had Maddie Howard clear first. It's very interesting. I appreciate them doing that sometimes to mix it up, so it's not the exact same thing every week. Typically the first run does not clear, obviously. Recently they've been doing better, like making it to the 5th obstacle or 4th obstacle, but a full clear is rare. So I appreciate seeing something different. I like them mixing up the result orders because you never know what happens. So I appreciate that. Good run by Maddie. Then they did a couple fast forwards, including Hans Hertz, who I recognize the name. I think I've seen him once before. And this is pretty bad. Not upsetting, but like it's pretty bad. Because they said they made it to stage 4, which I didn't realize at all. Because I wasn't watching the show recently. But apparently he made it to stage 4 last year. And they fast forwarded him in after the first commercial break of the show. Like, come on now. He's, to me, like the most successful people in the previous season should get priority in being shown. For example, like the last man standing or the winner, obviously, like that goes without saying. I think they probably will do that. I don't even know who the last man standing was. Oh, it was Vance Walker, I believe. But that being said, like whoever makes the stage 4 should be guaranteed to get shown next year. Stage 3 too, like come on, that's, you have a handful of people make it stage 3. I mean, last year a bunch of people made stage 3, but still, like come on, they need to show that. And stage 4, there's no excuse not to show someone that made stage 4. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't understand. Sorry, it's kind of a heavy duty thing here, but I got a new bottle, so I have to start drinking it. But what do you call it? Yeah, that's ridiculous that it's like, well, you were away, the stage 4 finals around the course, and he cleared, but it's like, what? I know they'll probably show him later on, but like that is, you shouldn't cut that. Especially because I think he's a good story. Like I believe he trains with his little brother who has like a disability. I think I'm thinking the right person. I hope. But like instead, let's just show this family that has a YouTube channel that does ninja. Like I don't understand, and I'm not hating because I have a ninja channel, but like you know what I mean. Like let's talk about how famous this family is instead of showing an actual successful person on the show. It's dumb, guys. I don't understand. But that's how ninja is. That's the thing that annoys me about ninja. Like they have no standards. It's just like, well, let's show the most cool / interesting / whatever thing instead of like what actually like is significant to the show. So that annoys me. But he had a good run, so that's good. And also another thing about that, which the fast forward was egregious in its own right, but it's just interesting that they did a clear fast forward after the first break. And obviously it's only because Maddie cleared in the first segment, so it's more appropriate to show a fast forward after that. But it's very early in the night to fast forward to clear, so that made me kind of think like maybe we have a high clear count tonight. If the first run cleared and one of the fast forwards clear after the break, that's pretty high for the start of the episode. Then we had Bob Warnes, who basically said that the show turned his life around. He was in the military. He joined the military later on in life, I think. And he basically, when he joined the military, he had very bad, like his blood pressure was high, like he was overweight, I believe, stuff like that. Like he wasn't in shape. And then he said he got into ninja, that turned his life around. And so that's a really cool story. Like, so I say sometimes the show gets cheesy with like the background stories, but if someone's saying like, oh, ninja turned my life around, like that's a cool thing. As long as it relates to the show and it's like not like something just like negative for no reason, I don't mind it. So I'm happy to see that. It's a good story, and I'm glad that he turned his life around and all that. But unfortunately, he failed the flywheels because he didn't get enough momentum. He got going to second, third. He couldn't build up enough swing, so he couldn't turn that around. But at least he turned his life around. That's probably more important. But good run by him. Good to see him out there. Then they had Lance Pikus, who they showed his homemade course. And like I said in previous videos, I respect people with like the wooden homemade courses rather than like the like fancy gym. I kind of like the bars and the cliffhangers. It's like very homemade. I wish I could build stuff. I can't even build stuff, so I don't know what I'm saying. But like I respect that like more basic course lineup, kind of like the classic old days type of course. So I like that. And it showed that he trains with 2 other people who unfortunately did not write their names on paper, but he trains with 2 other people that are like also like kind of like wildlife workers. So that's cool. And unfortunately they showed how he failed the log runner. They showed how Lance failed the log runner in 2016 in the Oklahoma qualifying, and he failed it again here. So back-to-back fails on the log runner, 9 years apart, but albeit still the same obstacle. So that's really unfortunate. We've had a lot of those this season, I feel like, where it's like, they failed this last time and they failed again. So I kind of had a feeling when they said that he failed last time that he was screwed. But unfortunately, I was right and he missed it. Then they show his 2 friends run a bit later on. They fast-forward both of his friends. And one of them did this thing where he like put a knife to his arm and cut off the hair, which that was like painful to watch. But he did okay, I think. And then the other friend, went on a spin cycle and did like an amazing one-handed save where he was like one hand, he was spinning around and he reached up and grabbed it. That was cool. They should have shown that in full. But again, we had to show like the stupid stories that fail the second obstacle instead. I mean, and I'm all for like showing like people that fail early, but like, I don't know. Sometimes they focus on stuff that I'm just like, why? That's not interesting at all. But yeah, but that was cool. The save was good. At least they showed it in some capacity, but I wish they showed it more because that was a really cool looking save. So yeah. Then they showed another fast forward who's this girl that did like archery. So she did a handstand on these 2 like platforms and shot a bow and arrow with her foot to a bullseye. And like that's cool. Like I'm not saying like I could never do that and no one else could. But to me, like stuff like that on the starting line where you need like props, you need to do like some crazy trick. I just think that's kind of like, I don't know the word, like, but it's just like, I think it's extra. Like I don't think you need to be doing that on the starting line, and you should focus on the course. And like if you're gonna do like a little dance or something, like go ahead, I guess. I wouldn't do it because I'd be nervous. But like, I don't know, something like that I think is just too big for a starting line. You need to focus on the actual course, especially because she failed the second obstacle. So it's just like, whatever. nothing against that trick. Like, I wish I could do that, but it seems like inappropriate for starting line in my opinion. But again, that's just me with my some of my opinions here, like the buzzer thing I had the previous week. But it's whatever. Then they had Clayton Reeves, who basically they said how he transitioned. So he transitioned surgery like a few years ago. And you know, is feeling better now and speaks about that to make people in a similar boat feel better. So that's that's a good story. And he failed the Ferris wheel transition, unfortunately. But good run by him. And then we had Andreas Jackson, who has growth hormone deficiency. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But he has growth hormone deficiency, and he basically had a lot of anxiety and stuff. You know, maybe I think they said as a result of that. And he got into like doing these really good drawings to kind of like relieve the stress, which is a cool story. Like, I wish I could draw. I can't. I'm like the least creative person that there's ever been, but that's a really good talent, and that's really cool. And he drew a picture of Matt and Akbar, very like hyper realistic with like the detail and the shadowing, and like everything is like very like shaded and stuff. I can't even wrap my mind around how that's done, but that's a really good talent, and it's cool. And he gets in the pictures, so that's really cool. I like that story. And also he likes ninja too. They talk about that too, but they showed the drawing as well. They showed like he was praying between the obstacles to clear. So that was, I guess his prayers were answered because he made it up the warp wall. I guess the Papal Ninja answered his prayers, so I'm happy for him they made it. That's a good run. I appreciate that. Good job. Then they fast forward John Luby, who I remember from the past because I saw him in Daytona in person. I know I talk about being in person a lot on these tapings, but it was really cool to see that when I was there. So I'm always like, well, I want to see him run again. I want to see him do better. And today they showed him in fast forward. He didn't do as well as when he was in Daytona, but he made it to a second obstacle, and he made a good swing at it, but he missed the second wheel grab by a little bit with his fingertips. But it's still a really good attempt. And like I said before, I like seeing the older competitors run. It's always it's always cool to see, because you don't get much of that. Like, it's a few a season. So stuff like that, like I like seeing the old competitors and amputees, stuff like where it's just like not as common, you know what I'm saying? Because you get a lot of like, you got a lot of guys, obviously, you got a lot of like younger people, you got a lot of like women, and so it's cool when you get like older, you know, it's just something different than the status quo. My teeth are cold. I don't know. I should have done this, but I can tell like I'm slurring my words, so I'm trying to get this milk to like make my voice better. Anyway, but yeah, I really like seeing that. That's a cool run. He fails like an obstacle, but yeah, and he's someone that I like his starting line acts because he like did dips on his walker, which was funny in the past. Today he pinned it like on his shirt, on his stomach. I mean, he like blew out candles for 70th birthday. I like stuff like that. I just don't like it when it's like overkill, but I respect those like type of things. So that was a cool run. I always like seeing him. Then they did Glenn Davis, who's another older competitor. He's 61. And honestly, I not think he's 61. Looking at him, he looks like maybe in his 40s, maybe early 50s, but like 61, that's pretty good. And he says he's stayed young through a ninja. He opened up the first ninja gym in his area. He's trained a lot of ninjas, so that's really cool. He was on the log runner. He did like a stumble through the last few. It was kind of cool, but he made it across despite all the tripping. I don't know what this graphic represents, but that was cool to see. I like that run at the log runner. And then he failed the Ferris wheel, unfortunately, but still had a good run. Then they showed Taylor Green, who I remember from some of those viral videos from years ago. I know the name for sure. I haven't really seen her run on the show yet. But she had very good steps on the log runner where it was like stepping literally on top of the log. Instead of like people kick the side and they kind of trip through it like the previous guy. But this one was like very much on top of all 4 logs. She made it through like smoothly. Like there could have been 8 logs there and she would have made it easily, I think. So that's pretty cool how smooth that was. And then she got fingertips on the Ferris wheel. Like I thought she was gonna miss it maybe. I mean, the way they were talking, I thought she was gonna make it, but like she looked like she was like on the very edge of it, but she made it through. And then they did this thing where she cleared the course, which was really good. But then they said like this is history because she's like the youngest girl to clear 3 times in a row, which is kind of like, it's a good stat, but it's not like, to me that's not like history. That's too many qualifications to really be like a historic thing. It's just like a cool like stat. But you know what I mean? It's too specific to really be historic. But that being said, very good run. So I'm happy for her. Then they did a fast forward to Max Feinberg, who cleared, they said it's his 5th in a row. Historic. He cleared 5 times in a row. Apparently, I mean, at this point, I think everything's historic. Sorry. And then the hosts were wearing like glasses, like to represent that he wears glasses, I guess. But I just know that the hosts keep doing like like for example, there was a guy that ate cheese and they were wearing cheese hats. Then with the glasses, they always try to do like these little like bits, I guess, with the competitor, which is like not a bad thing, but it comes across times when they do it so much, it's almost like desperate or like trying to. It's like we're fun, we're trying to, you know, like it's not them, like it's just like the show with all the props they're doing now. And same with like the archery thing with the handstand, just all the stuff they do to be so overkill. Like I don't know what it really does, but I won't say it's a bad thing. It's just like a lot sometimes. But yeah, that was a good run. I'm happy for him and his glasses. Then did a fast forward to Brian Kretsch, who's been in, well, I don't think he's been in every season anymore. I used to say that because I'm used to saying it. But he was in season 1 for sure. They showed some footage of that. And they showed him run. He was very slow on the log runner. Like Taylor Green was very like successful, like stepping across and kind of slow. But he was like slow, like almost walking across it. But it worked. He made it through. He's had a lot of trouble on balance in the past, so I don't blame him for that strategy. That was kind of a good move actually. And he had fingertips on the Ferris wheel. Again, I think he did like the cross grip with like 1-on-1, but he made it through and he made up the dwarf wall. He said he feels very old, but that being said, he made it through the course despite being old. So good job to him. So that was a good run. Then they had Janique Levette, and it's kind of another like turnaround story where she said she was like alcohol and drugs and stuff when she was younger, and then when she was having her baby, she's like she wanted to change her life, so she did. And now she's here doing the ninja stuff and you know, a much healthier lifestyle. So that's a very good story. I noticed on Log Runner, another thing I noticed on her attempt on Log Runner is that she was kind of like leaning forward through the whole thing, which is interesting. It worked. I guess it makes sense to keep your body forward rather than backward, because if anything, you can kind of get to that platform more if you're forward than if you're like leaning back. So I don't know if that was a strategy, but I definitely noticed like a tilt. So that worked well. What's something really weird on the Ferris wheel, you know, basically the Ferris wheel, you go like, you can go up or beneath it, either way, but it locks into place and you go to the next one, and it should stay in place. But for her, it like spun down, and I thought I was going crazy, or like I was forgetting how it worked. But I thought it looked weird the way it like went down when she got on it immediately. So I went to see. First of all, I couldn't rewind because I was on Hulu and it doesn't let me rewind. So I went to the YouTube channel, which luckily uploaded her run, and I saw that she went down, and I saw a couple of comments were asking the same thing. And if you go to that video, you can see me commenting on there as well, because I'm very confused by it. Like the first wheel should not go down like that. But it did when she got on it, and only her, which is weird. And it's like, I don't know if it was a weird cut or something, but it looked like it just immediately went down when she got on it. So that's really strange to me. I don't know what's up with that, but she made it. But that was just like a weird, I don't know what's up with that. I'm really curious. If anyone knows, please let me know. And she cleared the course, so good for her. 2 moms clearing the course on the same night. Like, I'll give them that history. Like that's a decent amount of history for like 2 moms clearing the, you know, but that's kind of, after that I draw a line with some of the other historic events of the night. But very good job to Janique Levette. That was a good run. Then they fast forward Nicholas Coolidge, who's kind of a name I remember and have seen, but I kind of didn't realize he left. But now I do, now he's back. And he did a cool, good run. He rolled through the log run, which I'm not sure how much that was like a cool thing or how much that was just like a necessity. But either way, he made it through. Then on the spin cycle, he got really caught up on it. He was like, he almost had such a bad attempt at the Lachey that he didn't leave the wheel. So he stayed on it. And then he went again and made it, but it looked very sketchy. And I think he's done that obstacle before, so I feel like he might be out of practice with that obstacle. And Hostia made like a reference to the fact that he's like kind of like rusty on it, but he still made it through, so you can't complain too much. So that's good. And yeah, he cleared the course. I think I ain't right, but I believe he did. Yeah, he cleared the course. Then they had Major Doom, who's Brian Doom. He's like he was a major, now he's a lieutenant colonel, but he likes major better as like a name, Major Doom. He flies a plane and like refills other planes, like refuels them with gas in the air. So which I don't know, you can like keep the plane like hovering in the air. I thought you have to have the wings going, but you know, like you refuel the plane. So that's a cool story. And they showed kind of like Lance Pegas. They showed that he failed a log runner before in 2016. I believe in Oklahoma in 2016 it was the same as Lance's. So I was like, oh, because I knew what happened with Lance. And he also failed again. Brian Doom also failed again this year. So that's 2 people in the same episode that failed in 2016 and 2025. The perfect square years. So hopefully he doesn't try it again in 2036 because he might have the same result. But yeah, that was unfortunate. So yeah, a lot of people struggle with the log runner. That's a pretty tough one to get. And I think it's kind of hard to practice too because they don't really have gyms with the log runner. Like I'm sure they have similar stuff. Like for example, they have like rollers on the ground, but I think it's a bit more sketchy when it's like in the air. Like it's just mentally harder to do. So yeah, that's a hard thing to train and get ready for. So a lot of people struggle on that one. Even people in different seasons will fall on it twice. So that's tough. Then they had Peyton Myler, who is a ninja YouTuber who's I feel like they've had on every episode so far, like her family. But basically they said how she's like one of the ninja kids and she's 16 and she's dating Luke Beckstrand. And in the profile piece they said a weird quote where Luke said like, yes, I'm dating a celebrity, but it doesn't like affect me. And okay, like it's a good thing that doesn't affect him because it's not really like a celebrity. Like, okay, her channel is well known, but like to me that's not a celebrity. I'm not just like nitpicking, but it's like that's not really a celebrity. Unless I know the channel's popular, but like that's weird to me. I don't know. It's just like not very. It doesn't make sense to me. And again, like I think they kind of spent too much time talking about these like ninja kids, famous YouTube channel. Like it's just, I don't know. There's better stories than that. I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. That was fine. And she made it to the log runner and then failed, which is a decent run. So not a bad first run at all. So good job to her. I feel like they've repeated the Ninja Kid story a bit too much this season to be worthwhile, but it was a decent run. Oh, and I was just thinking about how like some of the stories on here were kind of like redundant, almost. I feel like, and that made me think of something that I didn't write on here for some reason. Because I think I like got up during the commercial, but this was a story that was not good, obviously. But I want to say like it was a very effective story that they had earlier in the episode that I forgot to write. But essentially, it was his mom who has several kids, and she had a younger kid. And in 2011, he was very young. I think he was 2 or 3, and he drowned in their pool. And obviously, like you can't even, that's just a horrible, horrible thing. And obviously, she's very upset. The whole family was like devastated, obviously. So she channeled basically all of her emotions and everything into making this like artwork, and they showed a bunch of these pictures. All the pictures she made because of it. And that's one of the stories where like usually there's stories where I'm like, I can definitely like feel for the competitor and stuff, but that story is just so like so rough. And yeah, and it's like I'm glad that she found the art and glad she's doing this, but that's a tough story and very sad, but very effective as well. So that was a good. That story was definitely worth putting. And then she failed the log runner. Yeah, she failed a log runner like on the final platform, like going to the platform, but she still had a very good run, and it's good to see her out there. So that was a good run. Okay, now back to my regular script because I just realized. Then we had Luke Beckstrand, who's Peyton Myler's girlfriend, apparently the girlfriend of a celebrity, apparently. But he's very good, and his brother is Kai Beckstrand, who's one of the best competitors at this point. And Luke Beckstrand cleared the course and was the fastest of the night at this point. He failed the warp wall in his first attempt because he was going so fast. I don't think it was because he was like struggling, but it's because he was going so fast that he was like trying to get the fastest time, and he like just didn't get enough of a run up. So he went back down and did it again, and he made it easily. So that was cool. And Akbar said that that they have to have a rivalry. Luke and Kai have to have a rivalry, even though they say they don't. Like they're probably racing each other somewhat subconsciously. So yeah, and he went very fast. And he cleared the course, got the mega wall. I believe he cleared in 54 seconds. But when he got to the mega wall, he had a decent attempt, but he made it to like the credit card symbol, which isn't a great metric, but like I'd say it's like 16 feet up the wall maybe. So definitely not a bad attempt, not extremely close, but not a bad attempt at all. Not as good as his brother, as we're gonna find out in a minute, but still a very good run and very successful overall. He's definitely coming out of nowhere and being a good competitor. So yeah. I'm probably not coming out of nowhere actually, because I haven't watched the show in 3 years, so I can't really act like I know what's happening. But like to me, like it's like, oh, this guy, here he is. But yeah, very good. Then they had Kai Beckstrand, who cleared the course. That's literally all I wrote. Oh, but his profile is about how he has like a gym that he invested in last time when he cleared the mega wall. He got $10,000 last season, I believe, from clearing the mega wall. And he built like a gym, a nice home gym to like train his upper body and lower body and all that. Especially lower body, he said, because he's like trying to differentiate from other ninjas and get more lower body strength. So that's cool and good for the mega wall. And apparently it's good for the mega wall because we saw that he cleared it. The last round of the night, he was able to clear the mega wall. So that's very good. And he said he's got to find out something else to do with this $10,000. Maybe another gym. I don't know. But very good for him. If you can clear the mega wall every season, that's a decent bonus to your yearly salary. Because $10,000 is not bad. And if you can win the show, then that's gonna be a great yearly salary. Even this season with $250, that's not bad. So yeah, very good. And I forgot to say Sean Bryan as well, I just realized, but Sean Bryan did well. He cleared the course, and they say he was on Sasuke, which I remember he was on the Sasuke, like, USA versus the world. Well, it wasn't called that, but like the equivalent of that, where it's like a international competition. So that's very cool. And yeah, Sean Bryan did well. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here because I was like jumping around during the episode, like literally. So I didn't write down everything because I was like moving around so much. And now I'm like trying to go through everything and see. And I believe I got everyone. I hope I didn't leave anything important out. I almost did leave a couple out, but luckily I remembered as I went through other stuff. But yeah, so that's all the information for this episode. The stupid note that doesn't have every information can go away. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm honestly kind of ready for these qualifiers to be over because I'm kind of just regurgitating the same stuff every week, or it feels like it at least, because like I'm saying the same reviews of obstacles, which is kind of what I care about the most on the show. So just having the same obstacles every week is kind of but I'm still enjoying the show for what it is, and it's good to be back into it. It's kind of a good weekly thing because there's not too much on these days, I feel like. So I'm kind of back into Ninja, which isn't bad. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time for another American Ninja Warrior review of the same course of episode 3, unfortunately. But until next time, I'll see you guys. Thank you.